Friends, Namaskar. This is Professor Iyer, again back with you on this week on the India BRANDished show and the MARKENOMY show in combine. Now, we're going to take some calls on certain issues that plague the nation week by week, and I'm here again with you after my last take on the Indian economy. Before I begin today's brief, I wish to come to the point of the very stupid and very silly and in fact a statement that must be condemned by Congress leader Sandeep Dixit, and this gentleman has gone ahead and literally had a temerity to call Army Chief Mr. Bipin Rawat in a very derogatory way. Whatever be the semantics of the whole thing, that he did not say that, he said this, all that makes no sense, because finally he compared our army chief to the Pakistani chief, literally, and then almost went on and said literally that acting like a street gunda, I cannot tell you that I tweeted the Honorable Prime Minister that on this comment at least an arrest warrant must be issued. Luckily he has issued an apology, but I feel an apology doesn't suffice. An act fully condemnable, and I'm extremely unhappy that a senior member of the Congress party, which claims to be a national party for all these years and which believes in the idea of India, right? And it has gone ahead and one of its leaders has gone ahead made such a horrific statement against the Army Chief. I salute Indian Army Chief. I say all of India loves you. Rawat Saab, everybody is with you. Whatever you're going ahead and doing for India, we're all with you. There's complete synchronization. India stands with the army, India stands with defense forces, and with this, what is that? Jai Hind, will our country, will our army, and surely nothing above the nation. With this I start my views today, and my views today are coming on very important because I said just now the Jai Jawan thing, so my view comes on the Jai Kisan issue today. Very important to note that there is a heavy distress that has been reported with the Mandsaur issue where farmers were agitating, in the country, and the farmer agitation has gone down, it came up. There is a lot of different views in the media at this point of time and public domain. People are saying the farmers are in distress. On the other side, there is a certain view that these troubles are being fomented by political forces, So what's my take on this? My friends, my take on this is simple. It's a combination of both. We can't just say that there is no trouble. That will be bad. There is a trouble. Maybe it's not affecting the large farmers, but it is definitely affecting the marginal farmers and I would say farmers with smaller land holdings. With kam land ke patte ho jinke, people who have much less land holdings, they are in trouble because of the situation. The price of the produce is falling down. There is literally kind of overproduction because the demand in the market is not in line with the supplies. Suddenly there has been a good crop in the last year, and the prices of commodities technically have fallen down. And the most important idea in this is that the middlemen have been continuously minting money. The farmers own, I would say, support price and a guaranteed price in the market itself, because finally government cannot continue to give its support price. It has to be a market driven price. So if you look at the market driven price, the farmer's price is falling. Every farm produce price has been going down, and the cost of input to land resources has gone up. So those who hold lower quantum of, I would say, acreage, basically any farmer who's less than 5 acres has no scope. And this calls for a very important address, because on one side you may be making crop insurance, you may be giving other schemes, but practically it is impossible for smaller farmers to get over and come to a profitable model for their produce. Because the input cost for producing per hectare is just going up day by day. So what's the way out? The way out is simple, but very complex to execute. Simple when you look at it. Simple because what we need simply these marginal farmers, and I would say farmers in remote area and all, to get into a different model where you need to create a kind of a cooperative farming model or an aggregate farming model where smaller land patta, people below 5 acres can put their land up in a pool, a land pool for farming, which the government can in turn create a model which can be a public-private participation model where they can create investment module so that the produce is bought back. It's got insurance, the produce has got scientific way of delivery in the sense that the crop that is grown, scientists and experts on land output and experts who are agricultural experts can together ensure the highest yield per acre for the right crop, and farmer just is a partner in this with the help of his equity, his land which he has got, small land, and he is given a sustainable income and also alternative deployment and employment using value added produce in the farm sector, which could be the food processing industry. So we need to innovatively think in this time and not blame each other. I am very sorry that I see the political forces of the country only firing at the current government instead of looking at this age-old problem which needs a solution which is long-term, sustainable. And it's unfortunate that over the last 1 decade of Dr. Manmohan Singh's government, they just did not look at this. This change quickly was happening in that period, and that the farmer was losing his land patta or the land owning, and then marginal farmers were coming and they could not buy their electricity, they could not feed their crop with water, they could not really buy the fertilizers, they could do nothing, and because they were not having income. And then there is this vicious cycle that they were going to the local money lender, and then when they were not able to pay back the money lender because the combination, see, if the one marriage comes in the family of the farm sector, they would definitely spend a lot of money because they believe that marriage is a kind of expression of prosperity or expression in the community of that I have a status, and it was a status symbol. So a lot of money was spent across marriages and other such I would say occasions in the rural sector, and the farm income was not capable of helping this kind of events, and what happened is huge amount of money was spent on these social issues, and they could only spend it by borrowing and they could never return back. So such factors have also come in states like Maharashtra up. It's not only the question of the farm income, but probably they were spending more than what is required, and that was it, and it was happening. And then the produce could never sustain this kind of I would say social environment, and a social environment where they needed to show that if they are marrying their daughters off, farmers would spend a lot. And this was one socio-economic study that has come up in Maharashtra, where the farmer suicides were linked to such issues as well. I would say this will continue, these issues. You cannot stop people from doing what they are doing, but what we can do is create a model where they have reasonable avenues of not only subsistence income, but avenues that give them disposable incomes. Once they are disposable, doing this, going out, probably living a better life than what they live today could happen. And that lies in the story, what I call as RELC from our book, India BRANDished, Superpowering Brand India. That is remote location of strategic infrastructure and industry. And that is called urbanization by the current government. So that is the new India we are talking about. So look at the farmer, and unless we make our farmers happy, 50% to 55% of our population is still dependent on the farm income, and that cannot change overnight. It will come down slowly until we provide them alternative recourse and alternative revenue appropriation streams, alternative employment and deployment I would say opportunities, and we reduce the dependence on the number of people on the land produce. That is the way it has to go forward. So then we can say that Jai Kisan has arrived. Today, definitely the Kisan is in duress, just like the soldier is also being ostracized because there is a certain segment of the population that does not understand that our soldier who guards the border and takes care of this country is primary and principal to the larger issue and idea of India. And we are definitely on stress on the Pakistan side of the border, and surely on the other side in China as well, although the threat from China, according to me, will wane away over a period of time because of the economic dependence of these two nations. But we must understand that we must back our armed forces, and there is no question of making any other statement other than backing them. In the same way for the Kisan. And one last word for this, because we can't just depend on farm produce alone. There is also an alternative. India is a mineral-rich state and country. India's states are rich in minerals, rich in precious stones, rich in, I would say, reserves like marble. The Kadapa stone is a classic example which has become very famous, coming from one district. But we are rich in such stuff, we're rich in limestone, rich in marbles, we're rich in all these granites, all that we are producing. So I believe that the resources must go towards a new idea called the Dhan and Dhatu. Earlier it was the Dhan, that is the produce. Dhan represents the produce of the agriculture. Dhatu is metal and minerals. I would put it reverse. Now we have to look at more people getting more engaged with the Dhatu and Dhan. So this is also another area. If we can see micro and small and SME mining through the new Mining Act that has come, which is in vogue right now and which needs to roll out, I would say things could distress itself. Even properly mining of sand and other building materials can help it is in the community, and slowly and steadily, once we create a model where all this is not being, the reserves are not being stolen and they are sustainably made or mined for building materials and other materials, and not exactly precious stones but mining stones basically for earth material and earth resources. That is where the Ministry of Science and Technology could work with basically the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Mines. If they can combine together, then some new very interesting model can come out for the government of India. So with this, today's thing I make people think, look at it. We need to go back to Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, and Vigyan, Jai Vigyan, which Vajpayee ji said, who added, must come into this. Then only we'll come to the fourth model, which I always say is the fourth part of the story is Jai Insan, because without taking care of the soldier, the farmer, and in the larger sense, using the economic activity and the knowledge community and the knowledge science of the other community, all of them together, we cannot give the balance to the force, the human factor of India and the human development index of India. That is what I call Jai Insan. So, borrowed from literally the great Lal Bahadur Shastri, I say Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan first, for Jai Vigyan and Jai Insan. Jai Vigyan in Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji's mold, thanks to the great man, his Atal Shastra and the book that I wrote with my brother, after India brandished, I would say. And definitely for all this, we need the other part which I told you is to drive all this. We need enough of Bijli Pani and setup. So the villages need roads, the villages need infrastructure, the villages need electricity 24/7, that is power, and definitely the villages need water resources to sustain, because water is the most critical component of agriculture. So we need to back ourselves on hydro resources as well. So this is the formula with which we can bring everybody up. And as I told you, Dhatu and Dhan will be the future as well. And not the least, we must remove the middleman economy. Middleman economy will be removed if government invests in cold storages and they create a model of intermediate, I would say, storage using solar in large scale. Then I would say all this energy-centric, I would say energy-efficient system can supplement what the farm produce is doing, that it need not be thrown, it need not be wasted. Perishable commodity can be stored for a longer period of time and can reach the urban centers of consumption. And that is the model as well, which must be fused in. So this is a complex problem, the farm crisis, but it is a simple solution, it is a straight solution as I told you, but it needs an interactive, multi-dimensional approach to it, which I have narrated today on this video. With this, God bless my friends, God make India great, and we all together will run this great nation of ours to superpowering this brand by 2022. Jai Hind.